Corrections?
Make a motion that we approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right. I understand we have new members, so let's.
Yes, sir. If you'd like for me to go over that for you, again, the Board of Zoning Appeals is made up of 7 members, and 3 at-large members that reside in the city make up the board, along with 4 members that represent a certain profession: attorney, real estate, construction, and architecture. So you have those professions set as part of the BZA, and then you have 3 at-large members. So tonight, joining us, we have 3 new members. We have Prasanna Parvatnani. He's an at-large member. We have Jackie Freeman, who's also serving at-large. And then we have Todd Pruitt, who is now our attorney representative on the BZA. So glad to have everybody here. We now have a full board of 7 members. Aaron Jeffers, our architect, obviously, he's not able to attend tonight. So otherwise, we have 6 of the 7 here tonight.
Right. I'd like to welcome all of y'all. If y'all didn't hear when I said I'm Glenn Roberts. I'm Chairman Peter Perdermo and Olin Bell. Very nice to meet y'all. Welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead. Can we, since I'm late and everything, can we do the election of officers at the end?
At the end? Yes, sir.
Can we make a motion to that? Can I just?
No, perfectly fine. We can move it to the end.
We're going to move it to the end. That way we'll get, y'all don't have to sit around and wait on us to do that. We'll get straight into public hearings. We'll start with AA 25-8, a request for variance from the front yard requirements at 1304 Stratford Drive.
Okay, 1304 Stratford Drive is actually at the corner of Reed Road and Stratford Drive. You can see on your screen, it's this property highlighted a little bit darker in red on the corner, but in many instances, you see variances come before you because it's a corner lot or whatever the case may be, but in this instance, the corner lot does not really come into play. This is the property again. I zoomed in a little bit more because on the bottom of the lot, this is the area where we're going to be talking about tonight, in their driveway area. So this is where the property is located. I'm sure all of you are familiar with this location, but the applicant is wishing to obtain a variance from front yard requirements relating to accessory buildings so he can install a 20 by 30 detached carport. Section 14.10 of the city zoning ordinance states that accessory uses and accessory buildings may only be located in the side and rear yards. And the definition of a front yard is the area between the street line and the main building. So basically the front corner of the house to the street is considered a front yard. So again, section 14.10 says you can have accessory buildings in the side and rear, but not in the front yard. Now, this 20 by 30 carport, although most of it, about 22 feet of it, will be behind the front corner of the house, thus in compliance. The location of where they're proposing to put it, about 8 feet of it will extend in front of the front corner of the house. Therefore, they're requesting a variance of 8 feet. Now, and also really a variance to extend into the front yard setback as well. Now, there is an existing concrete pad on the left side of the driveway. Well, let me see here. Okay, you can see this, okay? Yeah. You can see there's an existing concrete pad to the left side of the driveway, and that's where the carport's proposed. And that pad extends about 8 feet closer to the street than the front corner of the house. And again, about 22 feet of it extends behind the front corner of the house. So they are looking for a variance of 8 feet. This is another perspective. You can see they already parked their cars there, but the proposed carport, which is a prefab carport, it's in your packet, we'll go over it in a minute, they just like to place it over that section that's already in existence. And according to the applicant, there is a physical hardship because bringing the footprint of the carport in line with the front corner of the house, it will require him to remove a significant amount of dirt, and there's a slope behind the concrete pad. It also require him to add more concrete, adding to the impervious surface of the yard, thus more runoff, and you can see there's a lot of concrete already there. But this is the area, if they were to build back to meet the setbacks, that's the area we're talking about. Now, the carport, again, it will be over that bump out on the left side. It will be approximately 42 feet from the curb on Stratford Drive. The front yard setbacks in the R20 district is 40 feet, although that technically applies to the primary building like the house. Just wanted to let you know that a house could be within 40 feet of the front yard setback. So this is 42 feet. Some extra information the applicant gave us, and the applicant is not in attendance tonight, by the way. The applicant intends to plant shrubbery in front of the concrete pad to help soften up the structure, and you can see there's a large tree in front of where the building will be. Now, one thing I do want to go over with y'all as a Board of Zoning Appeals, there are for variances or 4 findings of fact that you should consider when making any decision relating to variances from the zoning ordinance. And one is if there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the property in question, like size, shape, topography, and if the conditions do not generally apply to other properties in the vicinity, and because of the conditions, application of the zoning regulations would unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property, and also if authorizing the variance would not be a substantial detriment to adjacent property or surrounding neighborhood. And as we continue this conversation, we can go back over those criteria as well. Real quick, I want to show you, well, this is a drawing, again, showing the bump out where the carport's going to go. It covers the area of the concrete. You can see how it's configured. These slides didn't really show up well when we made the copies, but this is a typical detached carport that's prefab that you see in many locations. There's no walls to it. It's more of a freestanding pole. Now, we do want to say from a staff perspective, the need for a variance could be eliminated altogether if they put in a smaller building, like a 20 by 20 building. That would cause the building not to have to encroach into the front yard, which would be ideal from a zoning perspective. But obviously, if they do a 20 by 20 building, a couple of the poles will be sitting on the concrete pad, not in the middle of it, but it would be somewhere on the concrete pad, which could render that pad, more difficult to navigate and to use. Also, a variance could be avoided by grading that back area that I was showing you earlier, by cutting some off. And I showed on this drawing here, I made a little, you can see a little pencil drawing here beside the driveway. There's some curvature of the driveway as it extends out. Perhaps if that was the fill area, that could prevent the variance. It looks like it would be about 10 feet back. So there's a couple of ways for them to avoid the variance, which would be smaller carport, or the possibility of cutting some area in the back to take care of that. So just want to let you know about that. Now, you can see in the staff report, the staff did give a recommendation of general support of the 8-foot variance for the size of building because of the existing conditions on the ground. And rather than giving a straight recommendation of approval, which we would do recommendation of approval or denial for that matter, we wanted to give you some factors to consider. So that's why it was more of a general recommendation, because we do see that there's opportunities to possibly avoid the variance. But those conditions on the ground are the pad exists. They already use it for parking. There's a lot of concrete already on the site, and there will obviously be a need to have more concrete if they move it back, and that increases impervious surface area. And that could be considered somewhat of a physical hardship because it does add more impervious surface area, a little bit more runoff in that manner. But wanted to mention that the building is set back, or will be set back 42 feet, and almost 75% of the carport will still be behind the front corner of the house. So 75% would be in compliance, but it would extend up a little bit. But I did want to mention those factors to you, but I do know that when applying the request to the 4 criteria that we went over a moment ago that you're charged to look at and review, it may be difficult to justify meeting all of those findings of fact. So that's something to consider, obviously. But again, this is coming to you this evening. Are you the applicants for Stratford? Okay, very good. The applicants are in attendance now, but if you have any questions for me, the staff, I'd be glad to answer those. And then also, if you have any questions for the applicant, they are in attendance right now as well.
Okay, any questions for staff?
Have have we had any complaints or anything from the neighbors?
Apparently, there's a lot of people that drive down this street. I got about 30 phone calls when they saw the public notice sign, and the majority of them were just wondering, hey, what was it? When they found out, most people always think that when they see a public notice sign, it's going to be rezoned to commercial or something like that. So when I explained it to them, most people just carried on. They just didn't want it to be commercial. I had one person that expressed some displeasure, but there was a general conversation we had.
The reason I asked that question is, first of all, that's a very nice neighborhood.
Yes.
It's a very nice neighborhood, and normally, if you had a lot of people complaining because it's obstructing their view or whatever, but like you just said, if there's nobody opposing this, I don't have a problem with this, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Any other questions for staff?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, let's listen, because I'm not real sure. I want to know, would you like to, since you're the applicant, like to get up and state your case?
Sure.
Just, if you could just stand up here and state your name. Just, if you could come up to the microphone and state your name.
As you can see from the view, from the street, you can't even hardly tell that we're violating the rule that says we have to be equal to the side of the house. We have, yes, that pad is 8 feet this side. But we have the tree, we have the bushes there. We're going to add azaleas to further enhance the view and block the visual from the street. But as you can see, right now, looking at it, it really doesn't. It doesn't affect the neighborhood. If we go to the next view, I'm sorry, how do we do that? Yeah, there's the vehicles that we're going to have underneath, and this view is actually taken from the garage, so you can see it just, it really doesn't seem like it's going to affect much.
Okay.
It won't even, the view that our next door neighbors have, they can't even see it because of the fence and
the honeysuckle that's
there.
that honeysuckle is basically all the way down the fence. The only thing they're going to see is the rough, is the outline of the roof. And by the way, that's their backyard that abuts my front yard. They're actually on Wilson Way. They're not on Stratford.
Okay.
In this block, I'm the only house on Stratford. Everybody else is on Wilson Way. So, again, I'm asking for your indulgence. I really am.
Okay. Well, are there any questions for the applicant? My only concern is being in the front yard, and it's one of those prefab buildings in a nice neighborhood. And if it was more of a custom or a garage or something, we've done things before where people have gone we've made mistakes, and I don't wanna make the same mistakes again. Because once it's up there, and we can't take it down. And I think you can see it from, if you're coming from Reed Road and looking down the road, that's one would be the first thing you see, is that carport sitting there.
Well, if you're coming from Reed, the first, what you see is the house.
Yeah, and then,
We're on the other side of
you're gonna be
that.
looking, but it's gonna be in front of the house, and that's what you'll see right there on the right. That's my concern. But are there any other questions from,
So I just had a couple of questions. How long is the
How do I do
driveway,
that?
like
Oh, sorry.
the portion of the driveway that extended to where you park? When was that done?
When did we put the pad in? Was that
Oh, it's been,
7, 8 years?
yeah, 7 years, 8 years, because,
For the parking pad portion of it?
yeah,
Yeah.
basically what we did was, right now you see an empty trailer, because our boat is at Portman. But we were parking the boat in the front yard, before that, and, we just couldn't maneuver it well, so we put in the pad, and, quite frankly, with where it's parked now when you come up the street, you see a nice side yard that's sodded, irrigated, and the cars are off to the side. They're not, you know, the other option, of course, is to park facing the backyard there, or the side yard there. And if I were to put a carport there, then that changes the entire character of the house and the yard and everything else. This thing takes it off to the side. It just,
And it's a prefab, so I don't think we just kind of had an example of, we don't have like exact, have you ever purchased the carport that you're gonna be using?
Do you have a picture of the carport?
yeah,
I didn't know if is that the actual one, or is that, I think you said that was more of general.
Well, this is a 20 by 30 example, and again, it doesn't show up very well, but this is the exact style and model that you're looking to purchase.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's, and basically it's not the, you know, that horizontal thing that's kind of U-shaped. This has a roof, and it's gonna have a side panel, that's 3 feet. And the azaleas, purchasing reasonable size azaleas will pretty well hide the other 3 or another 3 feet of the columns. So it's not going to be an eyesore. I don't live like that, and
okay, all right.
wouldn't want to have something like
Any more
that in my
questions for
side
that?
yard. I don't want something I'm gonna be ashamed of, and I don't want anybody else to be unhappy with it.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, now, Maurice, that back parking lot there, is 14 by 30, so if they had added 6 feet to that, they wouldn't need a variance there, right?
Well, again, looking at, excuse me, sir.
That's that back part right there going towards the fence.
In the way back there,
This one right here, where you have
oh, that will bump
30
out
by
up there.
14 right there.
Right, that would
Added
not,
6 more feet of concrete, they wouldn't need a variance,
right, or if more was poured in this area
Right.
here, you know, a few more there for that size of building, or a variance could be avoided
To
with a
keep it
smaller
from going
building.
in front of the house.
Yeah, right, so yeah, there are options there to consider too,
Okay.
right. Yeah, there's land on the side of the house to do it. Again, obviously, there would have to be some cut, grading, concrete work
Okay.
to be done in that manner there. But again, you're looking at the 4 criteria, looking at the findings of fact that we gave you, that's kind of where we landed with things. But again, yeah, I think it's clear to see that it, you know, the variance could be avoided, but again, for that building and using that pad, then there would be a need for an 8-foot
Okay.
encroachment into the front yard setback. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Any more questions for staff? Nobody here opposed?
No, sir.
Okay. Any discussion amongst the board?
No, Mr. DeGeorge, is it Mr. DeGeorge, is that the way? I'm just looking at your house and your yard and everything, that's very nice, and I don't think you're the type that would put something up there that looked ugly. I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we approve this gentleman's,
Okay,
request.
we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, it is approved.
Thank you, I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. We're gonna, you don't have to stay for the second one, but you're more than welcome to. Second public hearing is AA 25-9, a request for a variance for a second electrical meter at 1102 Hanover Road.
Yes, this is 1102 Hanover Road. You can see it highlighted, a little bit darker shade of red. I do want to say that these requests do not come before you very often, maybe once every 2 or 3 years. So congratulations, new members. You get to see one of these requests on your first day of your duties. So, but this has nothing to do with the zoning ordinance necessarily. We have a standalone ordinance that was adopted many years ago. Per the City of Anderson codes, it states that properties in single-family zoned areas may have only one electrical meter on their property. And that's really to discourage the conversion of accessory buildings or people subdividing a house for multifamily purposes or even for commercial purposes. So that's the reason why that ordinance was put into place many, many years ago. But the Board of Zoning Appeals can grant relief from this code if there are no residential or commercial activities taking place and if there are constraints that justify that another meter is needed. And the applicant's requesting a variance from this provision so they can install a second electrical meter on a newly constructed detached structure. You can see it in the background here. This building will be used as a garage and storage. It's not to be used for commercial or residential purposes. There's no plumbing connections to it. None are planned. Our building inspections department's already been through the building and confirmed that it's set up solely for, the storage in a garage. It's definitely not suitable for commercial purposes or residential purposes at this time. Now, although the intent of the ordinance is to ensure that there are no additional commercial or residential activities taking place, we do try to look for some physical hardships that might be evident to help justify the need for another power meter, because a lot of times you can connect to your existing service to extend out to another building. But the 4 criteria that I went over earlier, that really applies to the zoning ordinance and zoning and land related. It really doesn't fall into these standalone ordinances that sometimes y'all have to hear and make decisions on. So those 4 criteria really don't apply to this. But again, we try to find some physical hardships just to help justify it, in addition to the fact that, hey, it's not going to be residential or commercial. We just want to see if there's any constraints. And in speaking with the applicant, and their Duke Energy representative did recommend that it's most feasible for them to have a second meter to serve this detached building, because the existing panel that they have on their house really doesn't have the room to add the additional load that this building will need. There is an electrical transformer about 10 feet from this building, so Duke Energy folks said that, hey, this would be a practical way of getting a meter if you wanted it. The existing meter on the house also is about 65 feet from this building, so the meter's on the other side of the house, so there would have to be a longer extension to this building. And according to the applicant, there is another physical hardship, because there will be the need to cut through existing concrete to be able to serve it, and also there will be significant disruption to the main residence because of the required upgrades. And again, this has been inspected by the building department. They have utmost confidence that this is not going to be used for residential or commercial purposes. That's really the intent of the ordinance, is to make sure that isn't taking place. So from that standpoint, the staff does recommend approval of this addition of the meter. The applicants are here too, if you have any questions.
Okay. Any questions for staff? Okay. You're welcome to state your case if you like, or if you think he did a good enough job.
I did not, that did not get included in the packet, but yeah, if you feel like I could describe it, but again, I think,
If you like to, just come up to the mic. If not, I mean, I understand it's 10 feet as opposed to 65 feet, and you have to go through.
right,
Yeah. That's the biggest thing.
Okay.
It's more economical just to bang it right there.
All right, well, I'll tell you right now, we can't base things on economics, so. Is there any discussion amongst the staff? I mean, the board.
No, sir, Mr. Chairman, just the fact that Duke Energy, the representative, are for this is good enough for me as far as I'm concerned. And, Mr. Downs, I just tell you, you had me, the minute I saw that pontoon boat, you had me there. I make a motion that we approve this.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Okay, that's been approved also. We're gonna move on to election of officers. Y'all welcome to stay for that, or you can leave. All right. You wanna lead us on that? How we?
yeah, we need to have election of officers each year. We have election of officers, chairman, vice chairman, and then also the secretary of the board, which is our administrative assistant at the city, Shalandria Gear. But as a formality, we always vote on that as well. So just keep that in mind when you're voting for the secretary. But I would say, Mr. Chairman, start out with taking nominations for the position of chairman, chairperson, and then we'll go on to the vice chair position, and then to the secretary.
All right. We'll take nominations for chairman.
Mr. Chairman, this should not take long.
I think I know where this is going.
I am very proud to have my nomination for Mr. Glenn Roberts. He's my nominee.
I'll second.
All right. We have a,
And I'll
One
make a
nominee,
motion to
second.
keep Peter.
we do what now?
I'll make a motion to keep Peter.
Let's vote on that first.
Are there any other applicant or candidates, nominations? If not, we'll go ahead and vote on that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, we'll do the same for vice chair. Do we have a motion
I'll make a motion.
for, a nomination for Peter Perdomo? We have a second? I'll second it. But I tell you,
I tried to get it.
you tell me because Aaron is willing to do it if you.
I tell you what, you said Aaron had said that he, be willing to,
Yes, sir. What I talked to Mr. Jeffers when he said he could not attend tonight's meeting, and he was just asking a couple questions about the agenda and also election of officers. I told him that would be taking place, and I asked him, hey, if your name comes up, would you be willing to serve in any capacity? He said, sure, he would be glad to.
I think we should give him a chance to be vice chairman.
Okay, all right, so.
Again, that's Aaron Jeffers, the architect representative on the board, just for you folks.
So we have a nominee of Aaron, and we have a nominee of Peter. Let's see, all in favor of Aaron, raise your hand.
Aye.
It's tough being a new person.
Y'all
Yeah.
know, guys,
I mean, I like him, so I want him to.
all in favor of Peter?
You got these guys
Say
at
aye.
disadvantage, they don't know these.
All in favor of Peter?
Peter.
1, 2, we got 3 and 3. Do you make the decision then, or?
There has to be another motion.
No,
All right.
count them again, how many you got for Aaron?
For Aaron, we had us 3.
All right, and I
Well, I
vote
guess
for
I-
myself. Can I
wait
vote
a
for
minute.
myself? I'll vote for
Or do I,
myself.
you want me to not vote since I'm chairman on this?
You're a member, you must vote.
I must, okay, all right, so. We got, let's do a revote then, if you want to change.
Okay, yeah, I'd say so.
I'll go ahead and vote for myself.
All right, so.
So let's go over, so all those in favor of
Aaron?
Peter,
Okay, well, you know what, we're gonna change it that way, let's make it unanimous. Peter, I
So-
think you're gonna win this.
okay, so Glenn Roberts chair, Peter Perdomo vice chair.
Yes.
And now we need to elect the secretary,
We-
Shalandria Gears, the normal recommendation because she's our staff,
Yeah.
who's not here tonight, by the way, I guess.
Not here
I-
tonight.
But does anybody have a nominee of anybody else? Then we'll go ahead and put it to, all in favor of Shalandra, raise your hand. All right, that's, all right, we got me, Peter, and Shalandra. Any other board business?
No, sir, that is it.
Any staff report?
No, sir.
Have a motion to adjourn?
Make-
And a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.